Whatever the story,
We have to end our dependence on China.
have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, hello everyone. Yeah, we are back right here on the scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Always streaming the video live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn. I guess we got to call it X now. I said I would call it X. YouTube, Facebook, X, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com. I think we might even be on Instagram at some point. Coming soon. Stay tuned. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number. If you have something you'd like to talk about, something going on your mind, a question, comment, concern, whatever it is, you can dial us up right here on the scoreboard. Your home for sports, local, regional, national, high school, college, national, pro, whatever you want to do. The only thing we really don't do is talk about cricket. I can't say I've ever watched it played. We got a good one for you here today, and I got to be honest, man. The show prep for today is a little lacking. We have a party going on here at WSIC tomorrow, and I've been cleaning for like hours, it feels like. It's been a long day. I'm tired. I'm sweaty. Once again, I got bleach on my shirt. I don't know how I always do this, but I got bleach on my shirt. But needless to say, this place is spotless, and it smells beautiful. Woo! So I'm going to try to struggle through this hour. It's not going to be a struggle. I have content. There's things going on in the world of sports, but I didn't really have too much time to sit down and gather it all. So it might be a little bit hectic today. So I'm going to need you to stay with me, stay on track, and we'll get through this together. We got some MLB news today, a change in the rules for the pitch clock, and some other various different minor tweaks in the system of the new rules from last year. Also, we have some NFL football tonight. Yes, that is right. Thursday night football, a very important game. Very important game for the playoffs and for the wild card. You have the New Orleans Saints heading to Los Angeles to take on the Rams. That game is at 8:15, and some people might say, that's a boring game. Who cares? No, that's an important one. You got two teams at 7-7 with 3 games left in the season fighting for a wild card. This game matters. So we'll preview that and look ahead in the NFL season. We also have a little bit of NBA stuff to talk about today. Oh my goodness. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but the Charlotte Hornets, they lost a basketball game. Not only did they lose a basketball game, they got crushed. It was bad. And we begin to look to the future at this point because, man, we're looking at another lost season for the Hornets. But let's start out like we always do with the high school scene. We've been highlighting high school basketball. We're going to stick with that, starting with Mooresville, 6-3 on the year right now. They played South Mecklenburg on Tuesday, and they lost in overtime, 90-89, and that ended their regular season for 2023. They do have a couple tournament games coming up. They start their tournament against Falls Lake at 11:30 on the 27th, so a couple of days after Christmas. Mooresville High School will be back. They're playing that one at home. It's a tournament game just for fun, holiday invitational, all that fun stuff. So keep an eye on that if you're interested. The Mooresville team picks up their regular season action on January 5th, beginning conference play, starting on the road against Hickory Ridge. And when Mooresville comes back from their hiatus, they will play 3 consecutive road games, capping it off against South Iredell on the 12th. Lake Norman basketball is undefeated to start the year, a big start to their season. They had a game last night. It was a tournament game against Carmel Christian. They got the win 86-82 in overtime. They move on in their tournament, the Phenom Holiday Classic, presented by Sport Mode 1. That is the name of the tournament. The next game in that one is on the 23rd, so on Saturday. But as of right now, we do not know who the opponent for Lake Norman High School is going to be. But when they come back from the end of the tournaments, they too will be in conference play starting on the 5th against A.L. Brown at home. As we move through some of the other Iredell-Statesville schools, we look at Statesville High School sitting at 1-4 after a slow start, not only record-wise, but also game-wise. They've played a very minimal amount of games to start the year. They actually got one more tomorrow before they are in their own tournament during the holiday break. They take on Huff High tomorrow on the road at 7:30. Send you off into the Christmas and New Year season with a win, maybe. That would be great. A good way to turn the tide and get some momentum as you head into the end of 2023. When we come back from the new year, Statesville High School takes on Garinger High School on the road at 7:30. That is actually not a conference game. They don't start their conference games until the 5th, and I think that has something to do with, the slow start to the schedule. So Statesville High School is going to pick it up when we're back, and they're going to have some games going on. I mean, there's a stretch in the schedule here where they have 3 games in 3 days, 3 games in 4 days, 3 games in 5 days. It's a packed schedule for Statesville. West Iredell hasn't had the most amazing start to their year, 1-6 on the year. They had a game last night on the road against St. Stephen's as they start their conference play. They lost that one 81-83, currently on a 3-game losing streak. And West Iredell is also going to be playing in a tournament during the holiday season. Their game is against CSD, Community School of Davidson, in the North Iredell Holiday Classic. When we come back, they're on the road against Ford. They actually have 3 consecutive road games on the other side of the new year, all of them being conference games. North Iredell Raiders, they had a game last night also, and they got their 3rd win of the season. That's a good one, 65-57 win against Ford High School. It's a good way to start off conference play, as that was their first conference game of the year. They're on hiatus now until January 5th when they pick back up against St. Stephen's at home. And finally, South Iredell, sitting at the worst record locally, unfortunately, 1-8 to start their season. Just not ideal, however you look at it. Their next game is a tournament game against Wilkes Central, part of the North Iredell High School Holiday Classic. So on the 28th, they will be taking on Wilkes Central. They haven't played a game since the 15th in the regular season, but when we come back from break, they also pick up with some conference games, starting with, get this, a 4-game homestand, kicking things off against West Cabarrus. We'll continue to update you on the high school basketball scene and other high school sports as we move through the year. We don't want to just pick one, We'll have more for you. Stay tuned right here. You're listening to the Scoreboard on WSIC. We're back after this.
More of The Scoreboard with Joe Berg is coming up on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a Show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The Infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here! Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include Time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading into the evening and into your overnight hours, clouds will continue rolling in. We're expecting mostly cloudy skies with a low around 32. Friday is going to start off as a cloudy day, but it will be sunny by afternoon. High temperature, 54 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
In life, we plan for many important things. Weddings, our children's education, retirement. A celebration of life is really no different. Planning and paying for your life celebration in advance will give you and your family valuable peace of mind. We'll help you take care of every detail with professionalism and compassion. We're Bunch Johnson Funeral Home. Find us at DignityMemorial.com.
Compelling talk for your sleigh. WSIC.
Now, more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hello. We are back. It is segment number 2 here on the Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Woo, it's a beautiful day. It's a fun day. And I'm excited. Quite a few things breaking in the NFL over the past week with injuries, like Keenan Allen being ruled out for his game against the Bills. Also, some MLB news. We're going to start there. This from the MLB Competition Committee on changes that have been approved for the 2024 season. Now, stay with me on these. Number 1, instead of a 20-second clock with runners on, we are down to an 18-second pitch clock with runners on base. 4 mound visits. Let me say that again. 4 mound visits, which is down from 5 last year. If a pitcher starts to warm up before an inning, he must face at least 1 hitter. The runner's lane to first has been widened to the infield grass. There could be more tweaks. Now, this report from Jesse Rogers at ESPN. Now, there could be more tweaks later in the winter, but as of right now, these are the changes that we are going to see implemented next year. Honestly, I thought we were going to get a universal pitch clock, 1 for nobody on base and 1 for with runners on base. I thought it was going to be that 18 seconds that they decided on, but they decided to do that only for if there's a runner on base, which I understand, and it's not the end of the world. We're not going to go crazy over this because it's really not the biggest deal. But as far as the mound visits go, look, I don't like limiting those because you as the pitcher and as the defensive team should be able to control to some extent the pace of play. And they're trying to limit that. And I get it. Games were long. They were 3.5 hours, but now they're under 3 hours. How much shorter are we trying to get these MLB games? Honestly. Because football games now take longer than baseball games. And that's true. But you don't hear anybody complaining that NFL games are too long, do you? So how much more do we need to shorten baseball games? The problem isn't the length of the game. The problem has always been the action out on the field. Is there any movement? Hit and run, a bunt, a steal. And we got some of that back this year. And I think that had a lot to do with the banning of the shift personally. But how much shorter do we need to make these baseball games? Because I don't get it. At some point, you're just trying to speed run through these things. And, you know, people are going to be sitting down with a hot dog and a beer and the game's going to be over. I know I'm a little bit of an exaggeration there, but still. So that is what we have from the MLB right now. 2 teams have reportedly made an offer to Yoshinobu Yamamoto. The Mets have made a very substantial offer, is the belief, as well as the Dodgers, with a bid anywhere between $250 to $300 million. Also, the Phillies, we don't know the number on that one. The Yankees are in that one also. And the Giants, Rangers, Reds, Braves, Orioles all have at least a possibility of signing Yamamoto. We'll see where this goes. He is now the most highly touted pitcher in free agency. So we'll see. I don't know if we're going to see anything too crazy. I think the most likely thing we're going to see is Yamamoto going to the Dodgers just because of the familiarity with Ohtani over there. And it would make sense. And I'm not going to be mad at that. I'm going to be a little disappointed that the rich get richer, as we always see in baseball. But I'm not going to be too upset. Other than that, we're heading into the new year in baseball with very little to work on as far as news updates and changes for next year. They just gave us a little sliver of information there saying, here you go, here's something for you. Take it and run, and, well, there's that. So we also have a interesting meeting going on at Florida State. Florida State has called a special board meeting of trustees for Friday morning. No official reason was given for the meeting, sources tell ESPN, and they are going to discuss its long-term athletics future. I have a feeling that we're going to see Florida State leave the ACC. And this is just a hunch that I have. There's nothing that's pointing me in any direction here. But I just have a feeling that they're going to leave the ACC. And this is part of the bigger picture that we talked about the other day with college football. And eventually, I do expect the Big 12 and the ACC to no longer exist. Eventually. It's coming. We just need to accept it. And it's going to be a slow process. But things like this, leaving out a Power 5, the most unofficial name in sports, a Power 5 undefeated conference champion out of the college football playoffs. That's what this stems from. And I would not be surprised if the news that we hear Friday is, hey, Florida State met and they are unhappy with the ACC, which we already know. They are leaving. They're gone. They'll probably go to the SEC. It makes the most sense. But then we're going to see this continue to trickle down. Florida State leaving the ACC would be monumental. But if that does happen, we are getting ever so closer to having a two-conference system in college football. And I know the purists are not fans of that, but it needs to happen. We need to change the way college football. Look, the transfer portal's open. It's National Signing Day. If I'm a head coach in college football, why would I bring in a high school athlete? Is there any incentive whatsoever, unless they are just out of this world? You go to the transfer portal. You get somebody who's been there, done that. You know, this is just normal business. I don't know. College football is in a weird state. Maybe we get to the point where there's actually like I don't know if you could do that. I don't know how you would legally be able to do that, but college football draft would be insane. Not the NFL draft, no, a college football draft. That would be wild. And I know National Signing Day is its own thing, and that's huge. And yeah, I get it. But now it's more important to get your transfers. 3 of the 4 finalists for the Heisman this year were transfers. Only Marvin Harrison Jr. was not a transfer. 3 quarterbacks, all transfers. You see what I'm saying here? There's some weird things going on in the world of college football, and it's going to be a slow process. It's going to be a painful process. It's going to be a process that makes a lot of people upset. But eventually we will get to a better place for college football. I can't sit here and tell you that it's doomed, because it's not. College football is thriving in many ways. You have some of the most bowl games ever. Now, I think they're just participation bowls, but you have a ton of bowl games. You have a ton of schools moving. You have all this money coming in for the student athletes who are now athletic students. It's a weird spot to be in for the NCAA, and it's no wonder that they are looking to the U.S. government for help on what to do. Speaking of college football, the Boca Raton Bowl is today. More specifically, the roofclaim.com Boca Raton Bowl. These bowl games, they're out of hand, man. South Florida takes on Syracuse. Both of those teams sit at 6-6. Couple of 500 teams going at it for a bowl. You know what? If that doesn't scream participation trophy, I really don't know what does. Imagine we have the Thursday night game tonight. The Rams and the Saints, both also teams that are playing each other at a record of 500. You say, you know what? Whatever. If you win this game, you get to like raise a banner or something. Kind of like what the Lakers did with their in-season tournament win. They rose the banner. I don't know what that was all about. That was terrible. All right, we're coming up on our second break of the day here. Don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we do have NFL talk that we need to get to. I know it usually is the second segment of the day, but I decided to change things up a little bit today. Keep you on your toes. Stay with me here on the scoreboard. Don't go anywhere, because we have a good second half of the show coming up. You're listening on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, and we are back after this.
There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Fall is here, and Lil Shavers has the supplies you need. Wheat straw, pine needle, grass seed, pelletized line, landscape edging, and railroad cross ties. Got a deck that needs staining? Lil Shavers has PPG paints and stains at prices you can afford. Fall is a great time to replace your furnace filters at Lil Shavers. Get the products you need at reasonable prices from Lil Shavers, 3301 Salisbury Road in Statesville.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading into the evening and into your overnight hours, clouds will continue rolling in. We're expecting mostly cloudy skies with a low around 32. Friday is going to start off as a cloudy day, but it will be sunny by afternoon. High temperature, 54 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
The Statesville Family YMCA reminds you that older adults and those with chronic health conditions don't need to feel they must accept impaired balance and limited mobility. Build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in your mobility through the Moving for Better Balance program. For questions and additional information, email C. Mullins at ymcanwnc.org.
You've been working hard, doing the right thing, and paying your taxes, and putting your hard-earned money in the Medicare piggy bank all your life. And now it's time to break the piggy bank and get something back. Medicare. If you didn't know it, Medicare is health insurance for people over 65, and you've paid for it with your tax dollars. Medicare plans now have more benefits than ever. That's good news, especially if you're like me and looking forward to paying as little as possible for good health insurance. Call and find out what Medicare plan is best for you. Save your time. It's valuable. We've already done the research for you. And in one quick phone call, you can learn how to get the best Medicare plan designed exactly for you. Hey, it's one of the most important decisions in your life. Let us help you through it. Here's our number. Call 65 Plus Medicare now at 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. 800-430-6748. That's 800-430-6748.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
Hi folks, Pat Shannon inviting you to join me for the Home Ad Show. We help you sell things, buy things, celebrate birthdays, anniversaries, and have a lot of fun in the process. Weekday mornings from 9 to 11, here on News Talk WSIC.
The Panthers' defense continues to dominate, ranking third overall in the NFL, and they plan to keep getting better. I'm Sharon Thorson with a Panthers update after this.
As the official ticket marketplace of the Carolina Panthers and the NFL, Ticketmaster has a wide selection of tickets available for every game. Whether you're cheering on the Panthers at home or away, Ticketmaster has you covered. With Ticketmaster's interactive seat map, you'll get a 360-degree preview of your seat so you can make sure you have the best view of those pivotal plays. Plus, the Ticketmaster app makes it easy to sell or transfer tickets if your plans change, and mobile tickets make getting in on game day a breeze. Find tickets today at Ticketmaster.com/Panthers.
The Panthers' defense continues to climb the NFL rankings. They're currently third in the league in total yards allowed at just 291 per game. They're also third in passing yards allowed at just under 174 a contest. But while the secondary has been playing at an elite level most of the season, the run defense has been a work in progress. After giving up big numbers on the ground earlier this season, the Panthers have turned things around since Week 9. They've allowed just 96 rushing yards per game and 3.3 yards per rush. That's third in the league. Defensive tackle Deshaun Williams says it just took them some time to gel.
It was a new team, everybody just feeling, each other out, trying to see what's his A move, B move, and now, I know what ticks DB off, I know what ticks Shy off, I know what Burns like, so it's really just you just finding the tune of understanding your teammates, and when you get on the field, it's like, I'm playing with my brother, so it's really fun, and I think that's what it is. We just toned it down, locked in on our keys, and they just letting us play fast football, and it's showing. So we got a tall task coming in this week. A great team in Green Bay. It's going to be a great matchup.
Slowing down Aaron Jones and A.J. Dillon is no easy task, but Williams and the Panthers defense held Atlanta's 6th-ranked rushing attack to just 52 yards last week, and they're looking to build on that success Sunday. I'm Sharon Thorson on the Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Hello, everyone. What is going on? You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Give me a call, 704-873-1400. That's if you have something you'd like to talk about or just something on your mind that you can't seem to shake. I'm here for you. I'll help you out. We're going to talk about some football right now. Yeah, I know. The NFL. Not only the NFL, but we did talk some college football earlier with a bowl game tonight. South Florida versus Syracuse in the Boca Raton Bowl. FAU Stadium in Boca Raton. Syracuse favored by 3. There you go. We have some better football tonight. And I think it will be better, actually. I do think that this is going to be a decent Thursday night game. It might not be the prettiest Thursday night game, but it's going to be good in the sense that it has a lot of meaning. Both of these teams, the Saints and the Rams, currently sit at 7-7 when we pull up the NFL playoff picture and we look at the wild cards. Right now, the 6th seed at 7-7 are the Vikings. The 7th seed at 7-7 are the Rams. The Saints are also 7-7, but so are the Seahawks. And right now, the Saints are the 4th 7-7 team. I know that might be a little bit hard to follow, but that just means that the 6 and 7 seeds are ahead of them because they are the 9 seed. They're not even the 8 seed right now. We do have some percentages, some likelihood of making the playoffs. If the Saints lose, their playoff probability drops to 21%. If they win, the Saints' playoff probability is 69%. For the Rams, it might be more important for them. If they lose, their chances are down to 14%. But if they win, it jumps all the way up to 70%. And the Rams are an interesting team because we're a couple of years now off of their Super Bowl with Matt Stafford. And they beat the Bengals in that Super Bowl, and there was that play at the end where the Bengals could have won if Burrow just had a second longer to throw it to Jamar Chase. But now the Rams come off of a year where they were terrible. They were one of the worst teams in the league. They lost Stafford to injury. They brought in Baker Mayfield. They didn't have a great year. And now they're right. I feel like most people, including me, kind of just forgot about the Rams. Like, you know what? They're a lost cause. They're in decline. The prime is over. We don't know if their head coach McVay wants to be there anymore. We don't know if he wants to coach through a rebuild. We don't know if Aaron Donald's going to continue playing at the highest level imaginable. But here they are against all those odds currently in the playoffs. Like if the season ended right now, the Rams would be playing the Cowboys in the first game of the playoffs. That just goes to show you how much of a turnaround that the Rams had this year. And for the Saints, the reason they have a different percent, like if they lose, they still have a 21% chance of making the playoffs. That is because the division is terrible. There's still a chance that the division-leading Buccaneers lose their game against Jacksonville. And then you also have to worry about the Falcons, who are 6-8. What if they win? Could have another 3-way tie with 2 weeks to go. The NFC South is an absolute mess. And unfortunately, the Panthers are not in that race. A terrible race to the finish. A snail's crawl. Can't win any games. And somehow the Panthers have been eliminated for a few weeks now. That tells you just about all you need to know about how this season went. And we've been talking about it all year. It was a bad, bad year. First team to be eliminated from the playoffs. Only team in the NFL with 2 wins right now. Thankfully, they will not be the first team ever to go 1-16. That's it's sad when that's the thing that you're thriving for your team not to do. New offense, new coach, new quarterback, and they continue to fail. But the Panthers played Green Bay over the weekend. We should really just kind of fly through the rest of the Panthers schedule and talk about those couple of games because we're not going to have much time to do that. as we move forward. As I've been saying, we won't be here next week, so you're kind of on your own for sports. Sorry, guys. But we got 3 games left for the Panthers. This weekend against the Green Bay Packers. Next weekend, they're on the road against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and they end the season at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. There's a very good chance that in Week 18, the Panthers can play spoiler. And I don't have I don't have a good grasp on who the most hated NFC South team is for Panther fans, because honestly, it doesn't feel to me like there's good enough reason to hate any of them. Panthers haven't been good enough for people to have that kind of an anger or an angst towards another team. Yeah, they made a couple of Super Bowls. Cool. What did you do with those Super Bowls? You didn't do anything. Anyway, I guess I'm just gonna rile someone up, and they're gonna call in all angry, and I'm gonna be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. So we got Packers, Jaguars, Buccaneers to end the season. We still don't know what time that last game of the year is against the Buccaneers, but if there is a chance for the Panthers to play spoiler, I wouldn't be surprised if that game has not a 1 o'clock start time, but a 4 o'clock start time, a little bit more prime time, middle of the day, get that West Coast crowd in there, if they don't want to wake up at 10 o'clock for the 1 o'clock games here on the East Coast. But we'll see. Hopefully we get 1 win. That's all we're asking for is 3 wins on the year. That's it. Because if you get a 3rd win, and maybe a touchdown pass or 2 from Bryce Young would be nice, show a little development. How about 2 of the next 3 games, no turnovers? Is that possible? Can we hope for that? Show me a little bit of development. It doesn't have to be crazy. You don't have to make leaps and bounds in the next 3 games. Show me a little bit. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. As always, it's kind of a coin flip with some of these NFL games and some of these teams and how they're going to perform. Looking ahead, though, we do have Saturday night football this weekend. Bengals at the Steelers. Saturday night. Did I say Sunday night? Saturday night football. Saturday afternoon football. Football on NFL games on Saturday. That's all we're trying to say here. The Bengals on the road against the Steelers, and the Bills are on the road against the Chargers. Here's the thing about that one. It looks like if you want to watch that Bills-Chargers game, you have to have Peacock, the streaming platform. I haven't seen anything that says it's going to be on national television. Where was this announcement? Honestly. Because we knew going in advance that Thursday night football was going to be Amazon. It was going to be streaming only. Is this really going to be a game that's only on Peacock and you have to have a subscription to watch it? Streaming. That's where we're heading. I personally don't like it, but who knows? Maybe 5 years from now, streaming will show us why we've moved away from cable and satellite to streaming. One more segment here today on the Scoreboard. It's a Thursday. It's a wonderful Thursday. We are almost to the end of the year. We're not going to be here next week. As a reminder, again, WSIC, Christmas music next week. That means we have this segment coming up and then tomorrow to get you your sports update. When we come back, we are actually going to talk a little Charlotte FC as we have an announcement from yesterday that we didn't get to, and we'll talk about that today. Stay tuned. You're listening to the Scoreboard here on WSIC. We are back after this.
There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. From December 24th through January 1st, WSIC will be playing Christmas music all day. And we can't forget about the last few Panthers games of the season. See you in 2024. Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and cheers to the new year from all of us at WSIC. Celebrate Kane Center for the Arts' first anniversary gala, along with Broadway star Mandy Gonzalez. Dinner and a show, January 6th at Kane Center for the Arts. You may remember Mandy Gonzalez from her roles in Hamilton and Wicked. This is a black tie optional celebration. All-inclusive tickets include dinner and the show. Happy anniversary, Kane Center. Visit kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Want to see more than 5 million Christmas lights at one time? Speedway Christmas is back. Happening daily, the amazing Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway is happening now through January 7th. The show is open 6 to 10 p.m., rain or shine. The infield Christmas Village is open Thursday through Sunday nights. Speedway Christmas at Charlotte Motor Speedway, now through January 7th. For tickets, visit charlottemotorspeedway.com. Santa is here. Schedule your time to take pictures between now and Christmas Eve in Birkdale. Appointments include time with Santa and 8 digital images from the professional photographer. For more info and to schedule your time with Santa, visit birkdalevillage.com. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
And now for a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Heading into the evening and into your overnight hours, clouds will continue rolling in. We're expecting mostly cloudy skies with a low around 32. Friday is going to start off as a cloudy day, but it will be sunny by afternoon. High temperature, 54 degrees. This has been your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center.
Folks, you know Randy Marion sells vehicles the King of Price way, but did you know our service department? We service vehicles the King of Price way. We sell tires, we sell brakes, we sell batteries, we sell the maintenance. We help you keep your vehicle on the road safe, ready to drive. Whatever the season is, Randy Marion service departments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, RandyMarionStatesville.com.
Santa says, stay informed with the best talk from WSIC.
Now, more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the new 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
Oh, man. Listen to that music. Go crazy. Woo! You are listening to the Scoreboard right here on WSIC 105.9 100.7 FM. Last segment, last chance to call me up, 704-873-1400. We have a schedule for Charlotte FC. Let's go. Released yesterday, we have the 2024 Charlotte FC regular season schedule starting on February 24th, 2024. Game number 1 against New York. It just says New York. I'm not sure if that's the Red Bulls or NYCFC. It's NYCFC week 1. Okay. So they are actually playing New York City Football Club week number 1 at home. Yes, that's right. The first game of Charlotte FC's 2024 season will be right here in Charlotte. Game time, 7:30 before they go on a 3-game road swing. Vancouver, Toronto, and Nashville. See, that's not great travel, in my opinion. I know it's 1 game a week, and it's a little different than other leagues, but when I compare it to the NHL, which does a ton of travel, obviously, every sport does. When they send their East Coast teams out to the West and vice versa, they group it together. Let's take the Hurricanes, for example. You won't see the Hurricanes go out west and just play the Sharks and then come back home. No, it's called a West Coast swing. They'll go play the Sharks, then they'll go up to Vancouver, then they'll go to LA, maybe Arizona, maybe Edmonton. Calgary. There's a lot of places out there. A lot of teams out west. Vegas, the defending Stanley Cup champions. Not one game and then you come back home. So I don't know. It just makes a little more sense to me if you would put a West Coast swing in these schedules where you just say, you know what? From this week to this week, you guys are playing out in the West Coast. Go have fun. Don't worry about it. Let your bodies change and all that. Circadian rhythm, whatnot. Charlotte FC ends the season on October 19th against DC United. That game is on the road. So the final home game for Charlotte FC in 2024 in the regular season, Saturday, October 15th against Montreal. So a decent schedule here. Got to play everyone. So we'll see. Still got a lot of time before the season starts. New head football coach. Just had the MLS Super Draft. And I don't know why they call it a super draft. It's interesting. It really is interesting to me. But we had a draft pick for Charlotte FC. They picked, if my page would load. It's not loading right now. I had it up. I closed it accidentally, and now it won't load. But we did just have the super draft. Don't know why we call it a super draft, honestly. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. Figure it out. Fix it. What is so super about it? I don't know. But we got the schedule, so we'll continue. Well, we covered the Charlotte FC season last year. We talked quite extensively about the peaks and valleys of their season. There was that stretch right in the middle of Leagues Cup where they were either losing or drawing. And they lost so many late leads and late draws in the season that, man, if they would have just been a little bit better, they would have been out of that wild card spot and they would have been on to the first round of the playoffs instead of what happened this year, them getting bounced by the top seed early. And, you know, that was it. That was the end of the year. So a good season is in store for us here with Charlotte FC. I really think that they're going to be a better team this year because of the positive strides that were made last year. Look, we can't forget they made it to the quarterfinals of the Leagues Cup. The Leagues Cup. They made it to the quarterfinals. They weren't even winning in the regular season. And they go to a tournament, an in-season tournament, by the way. An in-season tournament. As we continue to joke about in-season tournaments and whatnot. I wonder if I could get a banner hung in studio somewhere for the best in-season studio host. I don't know. Actually, you know what? I am in Studio A. Got to relax. That banner would easily go to Pat Shannon, okay? But maybe next year I could put my hat in the running, considering he will be retiring after tomorrow. Tomorrow's the last home ad with Pat Shannon. That's kind of sad. If you're a longtime listener of that show, it's a very sad day, but a very great day also. Very, very happy day because you made it. You get to retire. Congratulations. If you're watching, Pat, congratulations to you. And can't wait for tomorrow. It's going to be a good one. Anyway, maybe next year I could put my hat in the running and get a banner. Can I do like a in-season live during the show banner unveiling? Is that too much? Is that asking a little too much? I'll have to bring that up with the powers that be. But where were we? Charlotte FC. Yes, the in-season tournament Leagues Cup. They went to the quarterfinals. That was a really good jolt for them. And then at the end of the year, they won the games that they had to win to make the playoffs. For the first time, they made the playoffs. Unfortunately, got bounced right away. Right away they got bounced. But, the experience, I guess. You got a little bit of jolt here in Charlotte with the soccer team. And hopefully, I know I always say this, they can ride that momentum. Hopefully they ride the momentum of going to the playoffs last year into this year and continue to take strides forward. We also have some Carolina hockey tonight. The Hurricanes are on the road. They will be in Pittsburgh tonight at 7 o'clock. They are favored to win this game, by the way, by a goal and a half. It's always a goal and a half in hockey. I don't think I've ever seen a 2.5 goal spread in hockey. And we talked about this game a little bit yesterday, how important it would be for the Hurricanes to win because, like, the standings, man, Pittsburgh's behind Carolina right now. They're behind them by 6 points. A win by Pittsburgh puts them 4 points behind Carolina and tightens everything up. And not to mention, right now, the Hurricanes are not in the playoffs. Now, they do own the wild card, which does put them in the playoffs, but they really need to be one of those top 3 teams in the Metro. You don't want to be at the end of the year saying, are we going to hold on to this wild card spot? Because even the race for the wild card sees 5 teams within 3 points of each other. Only 2 of them are going to make it. You got 5 teams within 3 points, and then you got 7 within 6 points. That's a lot of competition. And it'd be a lot nicer if you could just be one of those top 3 teams in your division and clinch into the playoffs and not have to worry about that. You know, and if you finish top 2, you get a home game. You get home ice advantage in the playoffs. Now, it might not mean anything for the Hurricanes because it seems like playoff Carolina Hurricanes can't figure out what to do on home ice. Boston, New York. Just a little observation. But if they do get that win tonight, it's going to be a big one. The Flyers and the Islanders are 2 points ahead of Carolina right now. And Carolina's still tied for the most games played in the division, which hurts them a little bit. I'd rather be a team that lets other people play a lot of games first. That way you have points in hand. Like, we get to the last few games of the season. It's like the last week of the season, you could have one more game than the team you're trying to chase down. And that could be the difference. If you're playing a game and you win and the team you're trying to chase down isn't playing, 2-point swing with a win. If you're a point behind, you jump them. If you're 2 points behind, depending on the tiebreaker, you jump them. So unfortunately, the Carolina Hurricanes don't have that luxury to them right now. They've played the most games in the Metro, and everybody behind them has still got to play catch-up, which means that those are points available where they could jump the Hurricanes. And it might happen. You know, we could see a Carolina team that just falls apart this year. They're not like the team from the last 3 years. They're just not. And I don't know what it is. You know, sometimes the word in the building just gets stale, and I'm not advocating for a new head coach. Just saying that can happen sometimes. Sometimes the players get stale. Some people might need change of scenery. You see these things in hockey teams specifically when they go on a stretch where they're just, you know, they're not getting it done. You have a team to do it, but they can't get it done. And you see this all the time, and usually it ends in some sort of retool where you ship off excuse me, where you ship off one of your better players in hopes for a different player to come in that might be just as good as the guy that you shipped off when he was playing well. We've made it to the end of another show. One more to go. Tomorrow's the last one before we end 2023. It'll be 2024. Oh my goodness. Thanks everyone for rocking with me as you always do. You've been listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Tune in tomorrow to Home Ad for the send-off of Pat Shannon as he heads into retirement. And then, you know, tune into every other show too. But more specifically, tune into this show right here, The Scoreboard, every day, 6 to 7. We'll be here same time, same place tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Have a good one.